Hey guys, this is Red and Blue, your channel on YouTube for all things PSG in English. Please subscribe. We are back. Ligue 1 is back. PSG is starting its domestic season with the first game tomorrow night, Sunday night, French time, 8:45 p.m. in Nantes against Nantes. And so let's preview this game. Let's talk about the season ahead and what we can expect from it. Okay, but first, before we get into it, I propose that we have a moment of silence for our good friends in Marseille who started their season beautifully after annoying us all summer with their amazing recruit and their coach and how they're going to challenge PSG and they're back in Champions League. And those losers actually lost their first game 1-0 in Rennes. while playing 11 against 10 for a big chunk of the game. So, you know, Marseille, like seriously, guys, like stop talking. Just stop talking. Like, you guys really need to stop talking. It's just not possible. Like, yeah. Anyway, let's focus back on real football team and talk about PSG for a second. We are fresh off of our win in the European Super Cup. Obviously, our squad is still nowhere close to peak fitness. It's still only a week and a half in training, and with travel to Italy to play the game in the middle of the week, and now traveling to Nantes to play this game. So we'll see. In terms of squad, there's only a few players who aren't available. We're expecting Donnarumma and Kimpembe to not be part of the squad because they're on their way out, on top of all of the players who are on their way out of the club. Beyond that, Mayulu is still a bit of a question mark. Obviously, he missed the European Super Cup because he had a little injury, apparently. The club is saying nothing major, and so he could be part of it, but we don't really have a detailed understanding of what's going on with him. And then another question mark would be Barcola, who got out of the game against Tottenham limping a little bit. He was substituted around the 60th minute. He was limping. PSG has been saying that he's got nothing to worry about and nothing's going on with him. So he could be part of the squad, could be part of the team, but obviously, when you see a player leave the field limping, it's always a bit of a question mark. But yeah, beyond that, everyone's available supposedly. I think the question mark is really going to be in terms of how much Luis Enrique wants to rotate and how he handles bringing the whole squad back into full fitness. There's been a lot of conversation about him just playing the B squad for the first few games of the season, just as a way of giving our usual starters more time to get ready for what's ahead. So we could see some rotation. I think, personally, I very much expect Zabarni to be starting this game, on new recruit in central defense. For a few reasons. First, he did the full preseason with Bournemouth, so he should be match fit. He's a new joiner, so he does need to get some playing time with the team. And yeah, Marquinhos as well is obviously one of the older players in the squad, so probably one who could benefit from a bit of rotation and having a bit more of a managed start to the season. So wouldn't be surprised to see that. Question mark around our fullbacks. I think both Nuno Mendes and Hakimi. I expect Hakimi will play, which is a little bit annoying because I think he wasn't really performing really well in the game against Tottenham. So I've got a feeling that he could be needing a little bit of extra fitness before coming on. But with João Neves suspended for this game, can't really do anything about it unless we want to play Marquinhos as a right back, but that feels like a very, very remote chance of that happening. So yeah, on the left side though, I wouldn't be completely surprised to see a Beraldo start instead of Nuno Mendes. Something like this could very much happen. So yeah, something to think about. And then in midfield, like I said, João Neves is suspended, so Warren Zaïre-Emery is likely going to get in second start. I think the question mark is really in terms of Kang In Lee, because Kang In Lee actually had a good performance when he came on the field as a substitute against Tottenham. So maybe he gets rewarded with a start in Ligue 1. Fabian Ruiz is a bit of a question mark as well in my mind, because he did great when he came on the pitch, also at the 60th minute against Tottenham. But I still wonder why he didn't start that game in the first place. Was it like, did he have like limitations in terms of fitness? Like, if that's the case, like, can we expect to see him as a starter or not? So there's a little bit of uncertainty there. I think Vitinha is probably going to be an Ireland starter. Like, I definitely expect to see him. But in the end, wouldn't be surprised to see Vitinha, Warren Zaire-Emery, and Kangin Lee in midfield. And then up front, I kind of wish we could rotate Kvara, because he's another one who felt like really, really far from his peak in the game against Tottenham. So I'd love to see that. Realistically, like, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Like, I think like maybe we'll go pretty classical and like Kvara, Dembele, Doué, with Barcola on the bench. But it's Luis Enrique, so anything could happen. I'd expect some changes somewhere anyway. So we'll have to see how far the coach takes it. I hope we see like maybe some Mbaye, who had a good part of the game against Tottenham. So it'd be nice to see him get some more minutes as well. Mayulu, if he's fit, like there's some room for the TTs in the beginning of the season. So we'll see. And I think the reality of it as well is that in terms of the games that we're playing against a non-team, which is like honestly should be like very, very easy to get a win out of. And I'm knocking on wood, because last season we actually drew our 2 games against Nantes. Even if they finished just above the relegation zone, like we still managed to lose points against them. Obviously, they've changed coach since then. So Comboire, who's known to be a very defensive coach, actually left. He's been replaced with Castro of Dunkirk, who on the other end is known to be trying to create a nice playing style and offensive football and so on. The issue is that Nantes has been very much constrained in terms of its finance, so they've lost quite a few players, and they haven't really made a splash in terms of recruits. So we should see a lot of young players coming out of their academy, players not necessarily playing in their normal positions, starters who are missing out either by lack of fitness or because they're like injured as well. So for them it's a very tricky one. I was kind of looking at what we can expect in terms of their starting 11. So it looks like Anthony Lopez, who used to be the goalkeeper in Lyon way back, in goal. Amian Awaziem, who was one of their recruit central defender coming from the MLS. Tati, who's a 17-year-old from their academy in central defense. Koza on the right, I want to say Koza. Kwon or Coquelin. Coquelin is their captain, but he's a bit injured, so we don't know if he's going to start in defensive midfield. If you remember, he was in the academy in Arsenal for the longest time. And then Le Penant, who was on loan last year from Lyon, got recruited by Nantes. Leroux was part of my Gems of Ligue 1 video from yesterday for midfield. And then in attack, there's a bit of a question mark around the guy who supposedly is the best player, is Mathieu Ablin, who had a good breakout season last season. He's been talked about in terms of a transfer, so the relationship with Nantes soured a little bit. So we don't really know if he's match fit or if he's going to play or if they're going to keep him on the bench. I think, like, given the talent the guy has and like the depth of their squad, I would expect him to start along with Mohamed, who's their Egyptian recruit in attack, and then question mark between Benatab and Girassi, probably for the right back, the right winger position. So I think ultimately, like, a team that on paper isn't that scary. They lost quite a few players during the mercato. They lost a lot of their preparation game. Their last friendly game was against Paris FC, and they lost it 3-2 in Nantes. And then they managed to lose 2 games before this to teams who are in Ligue 2, in the second tier of French football. I think they're looking at a long-term rebuild with a lot of academy players, and younger players coming on board. So it's probably like the good time in the year to be playing them. Yeah, you never know what to expect. Obviously, like it's a good crowd as well in Nantes. It's a good stadium, so who knows? But yeah, we should have what it takes to get the win like relatively comfortably there. At least for me, that's kind of my expectation for this game. And yeah, if I had to bet, I'd say like a 3-0, like just comfortable, get the job done, rotate and do your 5 changes early in the second half. Kind of align players playing time and fitness and take it from there. Yeah, I do think regardless of how much we rotate our own team, honestly, it feels like we're like 3-4 steps above. And I hate saying this because it just sets ourselves up for an upset in this game and then me looking stupid. But honestly, on paper, like it's really really hard to see anything else. And yeah, I think this season, honestly, like sadly, like Nantes for the past few seasons, they've always been like close to the line of relegation. So really towards the bottom of the table. Yeah, there's a lot of talent coming out of their academy. They actually like won the youth league in France a couple of times, like 2 times over the past 4 years. And they did have another final as well. They also did a semi-final of the youth Champions League. So they do have like a really, really good like bunch of players coming out of their academy. But first game of the season against PSG, like those 17-year-old who haven't necessarily seen much action. Yeah, it feels like it's too much too fast, and like hopefully they find their feet and actually like build something over the season and manage to stay in Ligue 1 this way. But yeah, like I don't really see it for this game. And I think ultimately, like it's also a situation that we're likely going to see in quite a few of our games this season, because a lot of teams, because of the financial pressure to do with Ligue 1 TV rights, they've had to sell a lot of players and not necessarily bring in as much talent. So we've got quite a few teams who are relying on their academy players and youngsters coming out of their academy. So then, like, for those guys, like obviously they're playing against the team that won the Champions League last year. So it's really like a big difference. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, it will give us a sense of where we stand as well. I think, physically, whether we see players starting to ramp up after the game against Tottenham. Yeah, we'll see. Should be a good game, I think. Like, should be entertaining. If anything, like their new coach is, like I said, like he's probably going to be trying to play a bit more free footballs than Comboire. So at least we shouldn't like. I mean, to some extent, they're going to park the bus because it's PSG against Nantes, so they're going to be forced into it. But I expect they will have a little bit more. They'll try to do a little bit more than what Comboire might have done. So we'll see, but it might be a little bit of a more interesting game than what we might have gotten otherwise. So I think that's it for this Nantes PSG. Beyond that, obviously it's the start of the Ligue 1 season, so I'm kind of thinking ahead in terms of what we can expect. Yeah, it's hard to see anything. I mean, obviously, like Ligue 1 is always hard to see anything but a PSG victory. I think a few teams have done some good work in terms of their mercato window. All joking aside, I think Marseille is going to do better than their 1-0 loss against Rennes. And yeah, same thing. Like Monaco did well. I think Lens had an interesting window. Strasbourg has a very, very interesting squad that could create an upset. Brest, now that they're not playing the Champions League this year, like they still have a great coach and a bunch of great players. Rennes with Habib Bey had a great second half of the season last season, so could be interesting. Lyon, despite all of the financial troubles, they did some smart business and got some great youngsters to complement the players some of the players that they managed to keep. So there's quite a few teams which on paper are interesting, but at the same time, honestly, like it feels like no one close to the level of PSG over the course of a season, over the course of a year. I think on a few games here and there, like we could see some great football and we could see some teams get some good results. But yeah, over the course of a season, like feels like PSG is 3-4 steps ahead of anyone. So it's hard to see anything but a PSG win. I actually posted a survey on YouTube earlier today, and the question was more in terms of how many points ahead of the rest of the pack we're going to end up being. And I think the consensus from the early answers look like somewhere around like 8 to 10, probably 8 to 12. So yeah, it gives a sense of how far ahead. I think for us, it's going to be interesting though, is in terms of our physicals. Lack of prep could impact us at some point, whether it's really like early in the season, so the first few games, or like kind of later on before the halfway point and at the end of the season. So when things have dragged out for a bit. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting challenge. I obviously trust Luis Enrique and his staff to really do the best with the players. But how they're going to manage that, it's still a big question. And it's going to be interesting to see what they manage to do with it. So we'll see, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we drop a few points early in the season, kind of like in December, and then towards the end of it. Hopefully towards the end of it we'll be champion already, so it won't really matter that much. But yeah, early on or in December, we'd expect to see some not only us dropping some points, but also like not playing as good football as we can. And I know the fan base of PSG will be sitting there talking about how like this player is bad and this player is horrible and we needed recruits, and so yeah, let's get ready for that, because I've got a feeling it's gonna happen at some point. But yeah, like Ligue 1 season, obviously like PSG win, pretty domineering win. Beyond that, I don't like. Yeah, I think like we might get a bit of an upset, and honestly, like I'll throw my cap over the wall. I'll say like Strasbourg is gonna finish number 2. I think Monaco number 3, and I think, yeah, I don't know, like Marseille. I think like with them playing the Champions League, I do feel that they might drop some points as a result. Because the Champions League does take a lot of energy out of you. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Marseille finish like somewhere between 6 and 8, something like this. So it'd be PSG, Strasbourg, Monaco, maybe where else do we have? Lyon could make a run for it. Lyon could end up like 5, 6, something like this. Lens could be interesting. Brest as well. Rennes. Yeah, there's quite a few options. So yeah, but I think, yeah, Strasbourg is going to be the team to watch for me this year. So like mark this one. I think they've got great players. They've got a good coach, young ones, good dynamics from last year. So yeah, it could be like the surprise of the season. The new Brest is not going to be in the west of France this time. It's going to be in the east. It's going to be Strasbourg. You heard it here first. Cool. I think that's what I had for you guys for today. We're back. It's back. It's happening tomorrow night, 8:45. Ligue 1 is starting again. It should be a pretty good game as well. So I think entertaining. If you get a chance to watch it, definitely go for it. And let's definitely hope for a PSG win. And so for now, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the bell to get notified on future video, and leave a comment and give me your prediction for the Nantes PSG game. What do you expect the score is going to be? And don't forget, in Nantes, anywhere in France, ici c'est Paris!